Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Ponderings of the Priest. And by the way, welcome to my home. I've decided to do the taping here because it's quieter and just because it's quieter. So anyway, what I'd like to talk about today, and I'm going to begin a series about the fruits of the Spirit. And this is taken from the 5th chapter of Galatians, that the fruits of the Spirit are love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, generosity, faithfulness, gentleness, and self-control. And I had learned it another way, that also in that was humility and goodness. And so I'm going to talk about these for the next several weeks, and today I want to start with love and how we can understand love not just as an emotion, but theologically and spiritually. My experience about that has been that what love is about acceptance, love is about compassion, and love is about forgiveness. That these three components together, acceptance, compassion, and forgiveness, that when we can incorporate those into the ways of our thinking and the ways of our being and the ways that we interact with others, however close or distant that they are, that we can actually live love. We hear about love all the time. We hear about love as an emotion, love as a passion. We hear about love in 1 Corinthians, that love is patient and kind, is not jealous or boastful, is not envious or rude. It bears all things, hopes all things, endures all things. Love never ends. But how do we do that? It's really hard sometimes. I think as a Christian, one of the hardest things to learn to do is how do we love? And so if I focus that loving on acceptance and compassion and forgiveness, it goes a very long way. Acceptance doesn't mean I have to like something. Acceptance doesn't mean I have to agree with something. What acceptance means is I recognize something or someone for what it is, and that I'm not going to change it. And perhaps that's the hardest thing, is I like to change things, and maybe you do too. And then the next thing with acceptance is, it's this wonderful line. I talked to a gentleman, he was married for 60 years, over 60 years when his wife died, and I said, what was your secret to your long marriage? And he said, love them for who they are, accept them for who they are, and forgive them for who they're not. And so there's that in two things, and to be able to do that requires compassion. So the first is acceptance, the second is compassion. That it's, walk another mile in somebody else's shoes, to try to see through a different lens, to try to understand that the guy that cut us off on the road, or the woman that cut us off on the road or honked our horn, maybe it was on the way to the hospital and somebody's dying. Maybe they just needed to use the bathroom. To have compassion for another human being and to think about them and not just ourselves. And then forgiveness is critical. It is at the core of the Christian faith, is forgiveness. It is Jesus' words on the cross, Father, forgive them, for they know not what they do. And the most profound experience I've had of that is with my children. If you look at how forgiving children are, and Jesus tells us to look to the children because they will teach us so much, is that when I would make a mistake or do something that hurt one of my boys, and I'd go and I'd say, honey, I'm sorry. And without blinking, without thinking, it's okay, Mommy. And just to give me a hug and to know that everything was right again. That reconciliation is our goal. So today's thought in the Ponderings of the Priest is love. That is acceptance and compassion and forgiveness. And that may we all love one another as Christ loves us. Have a wonderful day.